Hello, fight fans. I'm that boxing writer, Jeremy Harridges, here with special guest, 18-year-old phenom, Xander Zayas. Xander, how are you doing?
Man, Jeremy, I'm excited. I'm happy to be here and ready to put on a show April 24th.
It's interesting. I've talked to you on and off for over the last 2 years. The first time I ever talked to you was about a month before your professional debut. Um, Now you're going into year two of your professional career. How much have you learned since before that time that you stepped into the professional ring for the first time?
Man, so I've learned so much. I think I've grown as a human, as a fighter. Inside the ring, I just gotten better and better, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the future holds.
You talk about that growth, and obviously that's every fighter from fight to fight grows to a certain degree. But the fact that you had that youth behind you, how have you grown mentally and physically during your professional boxing journey?
Well, it's been a great journey. I've been around world champions fighters that I've been in camp with, and I've had the opportunity to see the hard work they put in. I've been able to see what they do to be in the position that they are, and I'm just very glad to have the opportunity to work with those guys like Danny Jacobs, like George Kambosos that is fighting for a world title now, like Adrien Broner, Robert Eastern, Javonte Davis. I mean, a lot of guys that in the gym are focused and are dedicated to do their job.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about some of those names, and I've seen clips of you working with them. It sounds like you've got something really special going on at the Sweatbox Boxing Gym with Coach Javier. Talk about that environment. What's it like down there, and how have you seen that environment even grow too?
And it's been amazing since day one, since 2000. And when did I started working with Coach? 2014, 2015, maybe.
Mhm.
It's been great. The growth, you know, has been amazing. Seeing every fighter coming into the gym, wanting to work with us, wanting to use the gym as their camp means a lot to us. And we take that to our advantage. We work with them, we learn with them, and we just continue to have guys come in and wanting to have camp in here in South Florida.
You were kind of listing the names that you've worked with in the gym, and I mean those are some pretty impressive names, world champions in all sorts of different categories. Is the idea to get you different looks from the best fighters out there?
Well, again, they just came in and then they looked at the gym. Their trainer looked at the gym and they wanted to have camp down here in South Florida, and we just blessed to have the opportunity to have them in our gym because they could have chose any other gym. But back to your question, I think yes, I think it's something good because it gives me a different looks, bigger fighters, smaller fighters, faster fighter, stronger, people that move well, people that stands in the middle. So it kind of gives me a different looks from every fighter, but 100% we're learning and we're taking everything, we're absorbing everything that they teach us.
Out of all those great names that you mentioned, who would you say that you've put in the most work with, and how many rounds would you say that you've gotten in with them?
Um, it was either, man, that's hard because it was either George Kambosos, Danny Jacobs, or Robert Eastern, one of the three. For my last camp I spent it with Robert Eastern. We did more than, I don't know, 50 rounds at least.
Hmm.
So he was doing eight 6 to 10 rounds every sparring session. So we spent a lot of time in camp with him. Danny Jacobs, the last 2 weeks of his training camp for the last fight, I spent it with him. So we got a couple rounds into. With Adrien Broner at the beginning of camp, I also got some rounds with Adrien. With George, the last three camps that he's been fighting with Coach JC, I've been there with him. So it's just I've just been getting a lot of rounds with a lot of fighters and a lot of different styles that I've been learning from.
Is it kind of surreal in some of those experiences? I think a guy like Danny Jacobs, right? Years ago, if you're watching him on TV with Canelo, and then all of a sudden there you are training with him. Does it take a little bit of
100%.
does it take a little bit of time to get over that fact, and then, or do you kind of
Yeah,
like get
yeah.
to business quick?
Like, well, it depends. Seeing those fighters, like you said, on TV a couple of years back, and being like, I want to be in that position. I want to be him one day. I want to be a world champion. And then being in the gym next to him, or having a conversation with him, is like, man, like this guy that I seen on TV, this guy that is famous, everybody knows him. I'm sitting next to him. He's giving me advices. So it means a lot. But I kind of like, separate that from the hard work. And when it's time to work, we put in the work. And after, I go back to being a fan.
No, I hear you. And from the footage that's out there, as far as the aftermath, I mean, you guys are drenched in sweat. It looks like you
Yes.
guys are really putting in that work. I mean, it's quite incredible to
Putting in
see
work.
it. As far as,
Well, it's called Sweatbox. It's called Sweatbox for a reason. We actually sweat a lot, and it's really really hot down here in South Florida.
so I haven't had a chance to come down to visit the gym. Is there is there air conditioning in it, or is it, hey man, it's
Not at
nothing,
all. Not
nothing
at
at
all.
all?
It's a sweat box. It's a sweat box, literally. It's literally a box, and it's in the second floor, and the ceiling is like right next to it. So when that sun hits, it hits straight to us. Man, I love it here. I love it since day one, like I said, and we just keep growing. We just keep growing as a camp. We keep growing as a fighter, myself, and as a team.
When and I know we're joking about the idea of a sweat box, but when you're kind of going through rounds, and I don't know how long the rounds are, or how many rounds you do in one shot, but I would think that kind of, sparring in that type of environment, as grueling as it is, that's part of the workout, is dealing with that
hundred
hot,
percent.
that sweat, that steam that's in there.
Well, let me tell you a story. At the beginning of the pandemic, back in June, when they opened back the gyms down here in South Florida, we had to train with a mask on. So we had to spar. We had to do everything with a mask on. So that was also really like mind blowing, because you think about it, you're like, man, you're sparring with you doing 8, 10, 12 rounds with a mask on. It's like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? But it kind of helped us mentally, because if we can deal with that in the gym, in the fight, it should be easy work. It should be something, that you get used to it. I mean, we didn't fight with the mask in a fight, but it should be easier because we'll be able to breathe better.
I would
But
think I would think like wearing a mask while sparring would make it not only hard because you're trying to get in air, but like when you get punched, did it ever get ripped or tweak your ear or something weird like
um,
that?
well, we try to put it like inside the headgear. But
Mhm.
yeah, sometimes it would have come off, and we had to like stop and put it back in place. But man, a lot of experience. If it's like I always say, if you can deal with pain in the training camp, you can deal with pain anytime.
And talking about that transition from the gym to the professional ring, like when you're in a real fight. The last fight you went 6 rounds for the first time. How did you feel going longer? Did it feel natural to you? Did you feel ready for it? What was that like?
Again, I had a great camp with Robert Eastern, Adrien Broner. We I had over 100 and something rounds um, by the end of camp. So it wasn't hard. I didn't feel like I was tired. I did let the foot off the pedal a little, but I think it was because I felt like I was in cruise control. I feel like I was winning the fight easy, so I let the foot off the pedal. We worked on that. We don't want to let that happen again. But yeah, I feel great. I feel great doing 6 rounds for the first time. I also showed people that I'm able to go 6 round, and that I'm able to finish strong. And that was important. It was a learning experience for me. And we moved forward. Now we're going into the second fight, 6 rounders, and hopefully it can go less.
So, I mean, you've made this idea of kind of progressing and how to bring you along. You got a smart team behind you, behind your coach, and Peter Kahn is your manager. Do you have an idea of how long you kind of want to pace it out before you move it up to 8, or has that been discussed yet?
Man, that's the goal for this year. I want to finish the year fighting 8 rounders. Um, I want to fight at least 6 times this year. Keep stepping up in competition, and the most important one, win prospect of the year. This is fight number 2. The second fight is 6 rounders. Maybe I'll say maybe one more 6 rounder or 2 more 6 rounder, and then we move up to 8.
Hmm. And talking about that progression in opponent, I mean, we saw it from the last opponent. Now another step up.
Yeah.
You know, Demarcus Layton, your upcoming opponent, he's a big body, 6'2", long reach. Is the idea right now, you know, kind of looking at this as kind of like I said before with sparring, that showing you different types of fighters, different styles, different builds, giving you that experience?
100%, 100%. I think Top Rank has always done a great job with the matchmaking. They have Hall of Famers. And giving me different style will get me ready to, you know, whenever I have to face a top contender. Either if he's tall, either if he's small, either if he's strong, either if he's a boxer, I will be able to realize that I've faced everything. I've faced everything, you know, in my career. But yeah, I think that's a very important thing that they're doing with me, showing me different sizes, different boxers, and giving me different looks.
You know, the state of the welterweight division right now, I mean, arguably one of the deepest divisions right now.
Yes.
You talk about the, you know, 2 of the biggest champions out there, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. You go down, you have guys like Adrien Broner, who just put on a fantastic performance. And then you've got, you know, this group of even younger fighters, yourself included, Vito Milnicki. When you look at the landscape of that division, I mean, what does that mean to you? What do you think of it? And do you kind of set goals like, okay, like I see what these guys are doing, I want to up this guy, or I want to be here in a certain amount of time? How do you view yourself within that landscape?
Man, the landscape of 147 right now, I think, like you said, is one of the best. Um, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be in this weight class because that means that it's gonna bring the best out of me, and it's gonna bring the best fights for the fans. So that means a lot to me. You know, I want to bring excitement to the fans and put on a show every time I step into the ring. Um, you know, time will tell. Time will tell if I'll stay at 147, if I move up to 154. But right now, I'm not looking forward to, you know, be a world champion right now because it's not the plan. You know, we want to take everything step by step. Maybe by mid 2022, beginning of 2023, I should be fighting. I should be, you know, fighting some of the top contenders.
And that makes a lot of sense. You know, I think a lot of people sometimes have crazy expectations. You know, I mean, again, you're just really in year 2 right
Yeah.
now. To put it in context, you know, Adrien Broner, I think, is in year 5 and he still hasn't had a title fight yet. So I think there's that idea, and who knows? I mean, again, people also forget, because you don't seem like a normal 18-year-old. You really don't. You seem a lot more mature than 18.
Thank you. Thank you.
But being 18, I mean, like you said,
Man,
welterweight. I mean, you could eventually be a middleweight. I mean, you know, who knows what
100%.
your body's going to do over that.
And I'm still growing. I'm still growing. I mean, 147 right now is easy to make, but I'm still growing. I'm just 18 years old. I don't know where I will be in 1 year. You know,
Mhm, mhm.
if I'll be able to tell, then I will tell you. But I don't know. You know, so we're taking everything step by step. We're taking everything step by step. We enjoying the ride, and we just growing as time goes on.
And as of right now, it doesn't seem like you're having a hard time making weight. It seems like you're doing it pretty comfortably.
Shout out to Perfecting Athletes. Shout out to Perfecting Athletes. They do all my weight cut, all my nutrition. They work with fighters like Bob Crawford, Michaela Myers, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. Um, Man, and I'm just glad to have a great team behind me.
As far as kind of managing that, and you know, we've seen it with other fighters where um you know, they're trying to pull off too much and maybe they're not doing it the right way. As far as managing your body and talking about your team that helps you out, what goes into that? Is it planned meals? Is it calculated with your workouts? How intricate is it?
Um, it's planned meals, but it's also calculated with how much I'm working out, how much I'm drinking um, how much sleep I'm getting.
Mhm.
Um, I really didn't know that sleep could affect your weight, but it actually does. So we always, we always stay in contact. We always, my coach talk to them, I talk to them, they talk to me, they talk to the whole team. So I think that's also very important, the communication that we have, and everything and anything I do to my body, it goes through them, and they explain to me what it's gonna do to me and what it's gonna help me with. So again, I'm just glad to have them as part of my team.
A couple more questions here and I'll let you go. As far as things are starting to open up more, thank goodness that they are, and they're starting to some hope that normalcy is going to be there. If you could fight any place, or if you could see yourself, would it be Madison Square Garden, which I know there's been some talk about, or would it be Puerto Rico, a return and fighting home there like Amanda Serrano did? What are you thinking?
Man, I would like to make that debut on Madison Square Garden with a full crowd. Um, God, if God allows it, hopefully in June they could make that happen. But if you ask me right now, I'm focused on April 24th. But I will definitely love to fight, Madison Square Garden.
Well, you're fighting in Kissimmee, Florida, which is only a few hours away from your
Yeah.
home. It's got to feel like it's going to be like there's some home crowd advantage there.
And not also that, Kissimmee, Florida is surrounded by Puerto Ricans. That's kind of like another city in Puerto Rico, but here in Florida.
Mhm.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to put on a show to my Puerto Rican crowd, and I'm excited to be in a show with all the Puerto Rican prospect and all the Puerto Rican contenders.
Well, Xander, as always, it's a pleasure talking to you. I, of course, can't wait to see you in your next fight, April 24th. I'll be watching, and I'm looking forward to it.
Jeremy, thank you very much. And guys, ESPN Plus, April 24th. Don't miss it. I'm gonna put on a show, and we're gonna get the victory.
I love it. Xander, thank you again.
Thank you, Jeremy.